Morning guys, Chris from the daxtrader.co.uk, Monday the 3rd of June, and the trading disclaimer is in the description below. How are you guys? Have you had a good weekend? Have you managed to take a little bit of time away from the screens and enjoy the first couple of days of summer? What did you get up to? Alright, so what have we got so far then? Well, it's the first trading day of the month, and for me that could pretty much mean anything. We've seen all sorts of things happen on the first day of the month, whether it be just quiet, boring consolidation days or crazy price discovery modes where it breaks into some ridiculous new trend or continuation. So it's really difficult to say. There's no sort of one size fits all for the beginning of the month. So I'm just going to be flexible, and I'm just going to trade in the direction of the market trend, short term, and just take opportunities as and when they come. If we just keep it simple at the moment and just look at what the market's been doing, we can clearly see that we've had this break to the downside, and we are in this bearish trend right now. And I think a lot of market participants will probably be looking at something like this wedge and thinking, well, how far is this going to go, this break? And they typically measure this sort of distance and then go that far from the actual excuse me, from the break of the pattern, which would take you somewhere down towards that 480 or 500 zone. So if you pay attention to that, that's probably something that a lot of people are watching. But I think for the moment, we can just continue to watch the lower lows and lower highs until they're no longer there. And this is what I mean. So lower lows, lower highs, and this is the most recent confirmed lower high at 11,923. We've had a gap lower that did not close, continued break to the downside, another gap which I think just about well, maybe it didn't close, but it definitely tagged the underside of this low here, or just about. But it is a gap that was left open. And if we take a break now below the low of today's session, then it makes it a strong case that there's a continuation move to the downside still. So longer term targets, you'd probably say that it's going to be looking to equal the opposite side of this median line, which would be down towards the lower median line parallel. But you know what often tends to happen is that once you've got a center line, which is what this median line is, price will often accelerate away from it one way or another. So I'm waiting to see whether that is a move to the downside, which is often followed by a short, sharp retracement in the opposite direction. But we will see. So we're currently trading around about this lower quartile of the fork, but it's still in play, and it's been in play since the middle of May, this fork, so still continuing to watch that. As far as the trading levels are concerned, so on Friday we traded below the trading range of the previous day, and so below the low, continued to break to the downside, didn't really test any of these previous levels, so they're all exposed. So there's a point of control up here which might be worth noting out on the chart, somewhere around 11,900. But as for Friday's point of control was at 11,722. It's still untouched, and you'll notice that we had a gap lower, and we started to retrace back into that gap. We got about halfway before tagging this value area low and being rejected. And so what would often happen then, once you've got that rejection, if we just step it back a few candles here, excuse me, once you get that rejection here, you'd often expect for price to break the previous low of the session and continue to move in that direction. However, I don't think it managed to do it. In fact, I think it's actually held on this low. So, you know, is that a rejection of lower pricing? We'll probably find that out today. If it is a rejection of lower pricing and we get a bounce, we'll probably be heading back in towards this value area from Friday, which is also a higher volume zone from this composite profile that you can see on the right hand side. That's a 5-day composite profile. All right, and the darker section is the value area, and the lighter section is outside of that. It's the same for this individual profile for each day. So targets to the upside would be the point of control. It would also be the pivot, and this general value area high. This kind of zone of these trio of levels could be an interesting spot to aim for. If it manages to get higher, if it breaks to the downside, then it's just a continuation, and you know, we can look to sell the rallies. All right, let's see what else we've got. As far as exposed points of control are concerned, we've got 722, 899 are probably the ones that are in realistic definitely have a chance of getting there. The average daily range is about 166 points, so if we add that onto there, it could get to somewhere around 810. So it would have to go quite a lot higher than its average daily range to get to this second one. But the 722 is definitely realistic. Okay, a couple of the strategies then. So if we just take a look at the breaks to the downside, I mean, well, actually, this has been flirting with the IB break to the downside all morning. It's pierced it a few times, but looks like at the moment it is threatening to be taken out a stop loss if that strategy would be followed. But if not, you'd probably entered in on this first one maybe, or if not, definitely this second one, and you would only just have the one position open right now. Neither would have been stopped, so good to hold it. Got the red section suggesting it's continue to be bearish and sell, and we'll go and take a look at the other strategy as well. Come to think of it, I think I've actually got this on the Dow right now, so I think I'll probably just leave that one for the moment. So is there an opportunity to basically take a bounce higher at this stage on the DAX? It is. It's high risk, so make sure you get plenty of reward to risk. But it is just interesting how at the moment we're kind of forming this base here, and it looks like the market wants to be rejecting lower prices. It can easily just continue and break to the downside, so any longs here can just get blown out. But there is a chance for a bounce up towards that 722 level, there or thereabouts. So we'll keep an eye on it. Right, guys, I better update you as well on some of the other bits and pieces. I'm in a number of trades this morning for FX and gold. So I've got 3 FX trades open right now and a gold trade. So we'll keep an eye out on that, and I'll update you on how things are going. We've already had a FTSE trade this morning as well, and that went quite well actually. We got out of that for I think it was around 3% as a profit, so that was a nice addition to the account, and that was based on this one here. Probably could have even just kept it open, to be fair, but I closed out a little early, and looking at it now, I was targeting 70.81, and it's pretty much there right at the second. So that was this kind of sell from the strategy. I got in a little earlier than this is suggesting, but that's still fine. And yeah, congratulations to the guys who followed that in the channels. And if we just go over to the website real quick, and let's just load that up. It was a poor week for me last week on FX. I didn't really trade a lot on the Dow or the DAX or FTSE, but FX was pretty poor. I was saved in part by a number of smaller wins, but really I had quite a few stop losses last week on FX, so it was quite a hit to the account. But hey, it's just one of those things. That's trading. So yeah, closed out everything on Friday. The results you can see if you want more on the link here, but you can just filter those out using the table as well. So it was from the 27th from last week, and they're the results on here, and you can see a number of different stop losses, but a few little winners to kind of salvage as much as I could. When you're into a poor week like that, any salvaged wins is always a bit of a bonus, but it was kind of damage limitation for me on that last week, and yeah, it could have been worse, I suppose. But hey, this week is a new week. We'll just continue, and I'll just go and load up real quick the homepage. We'll just take a look at the economic calendar for today, and we'll just pull in all that data real quick now. Just scroll down, have a look. What do we got for today? It's pretty light. There is a bit of news coming out in the US side, and we've got the ISM manufacturing PMIs later at about 3 o'clock. European PMIs were pretty much bang on target, so nothing really unusual there. We also had the Chinese PMI numbers that were pretty much on target overnight in the Asian session as well, so nothing really to catch us out for this week. Just keep an eye out for the fact that we do have quite a lot of bits coming specifically tomorrow. You've got the CPI year on year for the Eurozone, and then you have the I can't recall which one it was. Yes, on Thursday you got the ECB and the GDP numbers. So there's a few things coming out later on this week, but today pretty light, so just continue to take the opportunities when you can. Right guys, that's me done. I'll update you again tomorrow with another one. Until then, hope you have a nice trading day, and take care.